Hi again, I am back and I am here to not talk specifically about homeschooling today. I'm gonna give you guys what I consider kind of a parenting hack. I'm sure most parents do something like this. I actually was doing a different version of it and I just ended up creating my own. Before we get into it, I'm gonna ask you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. So if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you comment on it, I get more traction on the video. And if you subscribe to my videos, you help me out tremendously. Share it with anybody who you think may be able to use it. Any of those things that you do help me out greatly. Even if you don't, I'm glad you're watching. So let's get right into it. So I used to do a responsibility chart with I used to do it with Noah. I didn't let Bryce do it because Bryce was much younger, or he's technically not much younger, they're 20 months apart, but Noah being 2 and Bryce being 1, Noah could understand so much better. So using the responsibility chart was really helpful. I will show you guys a picture of the one that I was using. It was from Melissa and Doug. I got it from a swap group and paid like $7 for it. They cost a little bit more on Amazon, but I really liked the responsibility chart, but I only had one and I didn't really want to buy another one. And once we moved, I didn't really know where I wanted to keep it. I wanted something that could be more accessible for all of us to use and keep track of. So I ended up just creating my own. You will see that's kind of a theme of mine. I create a lot of my own stuff just because once I have something in my mind of how I want it to look, if I can't find it, then I'm like, I'll just make it myself. So with that being said, I created a chore chart. I'm gonna show you a blank one and I'm gonna show you what it looks like filled in. So we erase our chore chart every Sunday and start over and go from Monday to Sunday. So I erased Noah's for the week so I can show you what it looks like blank, and then I'll show you Bryce's filled in. So this is what the chore chart looks like. So as you can see, we have a list of the chores, then we have Monday through Friday, and then at the bottom there you can see the daily behavior. There you go. You can see the daily behavior as well as allowance. Those are the things that we keep track of. So I came up with this idea, one, because I want to teach the boys responsibility. The sooner you get them doing chores, the sooner you get them learning responsibility, the better. It's less that you have to worry about later. Also, I knew that I was going to have a baby soon, which obviously Chance is here now. And any one less thing that I had to do, I knew would make my life easier. So if I didn't have to make up their beds and they can make up their own beds, that's 2 beds I don't have to make up. If I could get them to empty the dishwasher or make the table, or set the table rather, 2 less things I have to do. So that's how we came up with the chore chart. Now, all the things on the chore chart don't have to be done daily. Some stuff is a few times a week, but most of the stuff is daily things. So the first thing that I would suggest is decide what you want your child to do around the house. They pretty much have identical chores with a few little changes here and there. So I will read them off to you. Both of them have to make up their bed every morning. I grew up making up my bed every morning. I was taught since I was very young that you do not start your day without your bed being made. You really, not judging anyone, but I know for me, I don't want to get back into a bed that was never made all day. Bryce has to empty the dishwasher as soon as we come downstairs before we have breakfast. After we have breakfast, Noah has to clean the table. So everybody takes their stuff to the sink. I spray the table, Noah wipes it down. Another one that I think is important, I don't want them to have it in their mind that somebody is going to be cleaning up after them. They have to learn to clean up after themselves. I want to raise young boys who are going to turn into young men and then grown men who people want to be bothered with, not lazy, not, I want them to know how to clean up after themselves, how to, not be an extra person in the house to have to clean up after, basically. I want them to be able to know that it's important to clean up after yourself. Moving right along, Bryce has to open the blinds in the kitchen. Noah has to open the blinds in their homeschool room. That's another thing. I would notice that if I didn't open the blinds in the house, nobody would open them. And then we would go through the whole day. Well, we wouldn't get through the whole day because eventually I'd be like, okay, we gotta open these blinds. Whether the sun is out or not, like today the sun is not out, but I don't want to just be in a dark, drab house all day. So the blinds should be open. And I don't want to have to be the one to do it, even though it's one of those small tedious tasks. Once you add up a bunch of small tedious tasks, it ends up being a lot. So me not having to go and open the blinds is one less thing I have to do. So they each open blinds in one room. Noah takes care of the garbage on the 3rd floor. Bryce takes care of the garbage on the 2nd floor. They go in each room that has a garbage can. They bring the garbage downstairs. That's all they have to do. I don't feel that they're old enough to take the garbage and empty it into the big garbage, because most likely they're going to end up spilling stuff, and I've seen it happen when they've wanted to be eager to do the next step, and they're like, oh, can I empty the garbage into the big garbage can? And you let them do it. Now you got booger tissues all over the floor and things like that, Q-tips and things like that. So I would prefer to do it, or Eric will do it, and then when we're done, we sit the garbage can by the step, they grab, or at the bottom of the step, they grab the garbage can, take it back upstairs. Clean the homeschool room. That's a thing that they do together mutually at the end of the day. This is either right before or right after dinner, before they go to bed. They have to clean up that homeschool room. Next up on the list is after dinner, Bryce has to clean the table. So Noah cleans the table after breakfast, Bryce cleans the table after dinner. Same deal, everybody takes their stuff to the sink, Bryce cleans we spray the table, and then Bryce wipes it down. I think that's just very important in general, just learning how to like wipe things down and things like that, because in another year, because we've been kind of, I think this is maybe our 3rd version of the chore chart. I update it as they get a little bit older, and it could be 6 months older, it could be 3 months older, it depends on where their skills are. So right now they're just wiping down the kitchen table, but Noah will be 7 this year. By this time next year, he'll probably be cleaning the bathroom or something like that. I'll probably have him responsible for making sure that their bathroom sink is wiped down every other day or something like that. And that's the beauty of making your own. Not saying that if you bought one from the store you couldn't change it, but I love making my own because I can literally just put anything on here at any given time and change it up however I want. Next up is close the blinds in the homeschool room. That's what Noah does at the end of the day, and Bryce closed the blinds in the kitchen. So the blinds that they open in the morning, they close in the evening. And then this is a good example of updating the chore chart. This wasn't on here, having Noah vacuum the rug, because I couldn't even picture him being able to maneuver it. Another good example is sweeping. Sweeping is not on either of their lists, because I did let Noah try to sweep one time, and it was the most ridiculous looking thing I had ever seen. He had no clue what he was doing. It was just no coordination. He didn't understand the concept of sweeping it into a pile. It was just him moving the broom back and forth. So I mean, some people advance differently. One of my clients, that was actually what made me try it. One of my clients, her daughter is a couple months older than Noah, and I remember she was telling me that her daughter sweeps the floor, and I was like, really? I was like, I couldn't picture Noah sweeping the floor. So that's when I had tried to get Noah to sweep the floor, and it was a fail. So, you know, people, you have to go with their strengths and go with what they can do, but definitely by this time next year, or I'm sure much sooner than that, that will be a chore that is added to Noah's list, and I may even give Bryce the vacuuming chore and have Noah do the sweeping. So Noah's chore is to vacuum the entryway. So we have, when you first walk into our house, we have this little area where people come and take their shoes off, and we have like a cubby slot for shoes, and then we have hooks for coats and things like that. And so there's a rug, and the rug is the only spot where people can like have their shoes on. After they get off the rug, the shoes need to be off, so the rug gets dirty, as you can imagine. So Noah's chore is to vacuum that rug, and that's the one chore that he almost never does. If I don't remind him, or Eric doesn't remind him, then it pretty much doesn't get done, and I'll get to that in a minute. So then the last chore that they have, both of them have on their list, is to feed their fish. So they both have two separate fish tanks, and at the end of the night, Eric has now, within the past, since Chance has been born, he has taken over the task of putting the boys to sleep at night. And so he makes sure, he's usually the one that is on top of whether or not they fed their fish. So that's what it is. And then underneath that, we have our daily behavior. So at the end of the day, how did you behave? So typically in the morning, let's say if they're like not listening or whatever the case may be, I'll say to them, guys, Do you want to have a happy face for today? And of course they want a happy face, so that reminds them, oh, I need to behave. Because you're not always thinking about it. Sometimes you're just having so much fun, you don't realize you're running up and down the stairs and back and forth in the hall, which you're not supposed to do. So I give them that little reminder and they remember, okay, I don't want to have a sad face. So we have 3 faces. We have the happy face, the straight face, and the sad face. So we don't go from happy face to sad face. So the most desirable face to have would be the happy face or the smiley face. The sad face means that you have just completely misbehaved. And then a straight face means you weren't on your best behavior, but you weren't really misbehaving. It was just somewhere in between. The next thing after that would be allowance. The way that we do the allowance is for every check that you get for that day, it equals 10 cents. So if you got, the most that you can get for one day is 8, because there's 8 chores on the chore chart. So if you did all 8 of your chores, then you have 80 cents at the end of the day. So think about it. If you have 80 cents at the end of the day and you do that, if you have 80 cents, I'm mathematically challenged, so I'm pulling out my phone and do math. If you do, this would never happen, but if they did all their chores every day, all 7 days, that would be 80 cents a day, 7 days a week. So that would be $5.60 at the end of the week, which I'm saying is not too shabby for a 6 and a 5-year-old. Because if you made $5, and we round up, so we never give them exactly what it is, so we round to the nearest dollar. So if you have $5.60 at the end of the week, you have $6. So then $6 times 4 weeks out of a month, you made $24, and you don't even have a job. So, and then, you know, so it's a nice way to show them that they can earn money and they're not just gonna get it because, I mean, we could realistically just say, okay, it's the end of the week, here you go, here's $5, but they're not seeing that they earned anything. They're not seeing that they did anything to get that money. And so the way that we do it is, I'm gonna show you Bryce's chart. So this is for this week. Today is Sunday, so that's why Sunday is not complete yet. As you can see, Bryce had a straight face here. So a straight face still allows you to get your allowance. If you have a sad face, you don't get your allowance for that day. Any chores that you did that day is null and void if you get a sad face. So he has all happy faces and one straight face, but let's just say, for argument's sake, or let's just say for the sake of this chart, Bryce gets a sad face today. But let's also say he did all his chores. So technically he's supposed to get 80 cents, but he got a sad face. He just was not on his best behavior, okay? 80 cents, sad face, it gets crossed out. So I do have my marker here. So I'm just gonna put checks straight down. But then, sad face, you didn't listen, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So you have your 80 cents, but now it's crossed out. So this is what it would look like. So he would still get this money, we would still add this up, and he would still get the money that he earned for the rest of the week, but this he would not receive because he wasn't behaving. And again, it's important because I want to reinforce good behavior, and I want to let them know that bad behavior does not, I don't really want to say bad behavior, but if you're just not on your best behavior, you're not listening or whatever the case may be, then you're not going to get rewarded for that. Nobody should get rewarded for misbehaving. And it's the same thing. If you're on a job and you keep calling out, or you know, you're insubordinate, or you get whatever, like you get a warning, you get suspended, you get fired, or if they were in traditional school, you might get suspended or detention or expelled or whatever. There's always a consequence when you're not behaving. There's always a consequence for any type of behavior. I'm not gonna say when you're not behaving. There's a consequence for any kind of behavior. You behave well, your consequence is something good. You misbehave, the consequence is not gonna be anything good. And that's what we wanna show them. I'm happy that my children are pretty well behaved, so it's rare for them to get a sad face. It's rare. But when they do understand that they are not going to get that money. And they are still, especially Bryce, but they still are trying to, they're not at the age, or I'm not going to say the age, they don't have the full understanding of money money is a good thing. I want it. I want to have a lot of it. I want it in my pocket. I want it in my wallet. I want it in my bank account. They are happy when they get it because we get happy. And we're like, oh, you guys, look, you made $4 this week. That's what makes them happy, feeding off of our energy. But for themselves, they're not connecting. Oh my God, I see this toy on TV that I really want. If I do all of my chores and I behave all week, then I'll be $5 closer to getting that toy I want. They're not connecting that quite yet. They're getting there because Noah will be 7 this year, so you know, I'm sure he's gonna start understanding that more. But you know, when they get to that point, then they'll be even more serious about, oh, because one of the issues that we've had is that they don't think about their chores throughout the day. We have to constantly remind them, which is fine because Bryce just turned 5 and Noah is 6. So they're not responsible. They don't have any reason to be responsible. Responsibility has not kicked in for them yet. So we are constantly reminding them, but Eric tells them all the time, like, look, if you want to have more money, if you want me to give you a larger amount of money at the end of the week on a Sunday, you have to do your chores. Now, if you keep forgetting to vacuum the floor and I have to keep vacuuming the floor, then you're not going to get a check for vacuuming the floor, and that's 10 cents less that you're going to get. 10 cents is not a lot, but it adds up. Because if you're forgetting to do vacuuming the floor, feeding the fish, wiping down the table, and all of that over and over and over again, by the end of the week, you're going to end up with like $1.20, you know? So that is motivation for them, but we have to just kind of keep staying on top of them about it so that they understand, keep doing chores, keep getting money. So this is what we do. This is our wonderful chore chart. We have been using it for over a year now. I love it. I'm not gonna say I swear by it, but I definitely love it. I like it a lot better than the chore chart or the responsibility chart that we were using prior. Again, nothing against the Melissa and Doug one, because one of my clients was here one time and I was telling her about it and she went out and bought it immediately. And you know, anything that you can do to enforce good behavior and stay on top of what they're doing is amazing. And you really want to start teaching kids chores as young as possible, because Chance is not old enough to really understand anything. Chance is actually not even talking yet, but you know, when Chance is approaching 2, he'll have his little baby chores, okay? Put your toys in your basket. And I actually have him doing that now. I'm teaching him, like, okay, you're playing with your toys, okay, let's put the toys back in the basket. You start showing them that stuff now, showing them how to clean up after themselves and things like that. It all comes back. It comes back full circle, because they'll always remember. I remember when I was little, I always had to clean up. I always had to put things up after myself. I had to wipe the table. I had to do this. You know, when Noah is 10 years old, his chores might be taking out the garbage, because right now they just bring the garbage downstairs. That'll be one less thing for Eric to do. Take the garbage, take it outside. You know, the chores should definitely be changing as your child is growing, which again is why I like this, because I can just always change this list of chores and put something different in there as they get older. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you guys implement something like this. If you have any ideas of a different thing to implement or something to add or just a suggestion, I'm open to hearing it. This is really working for us. We love doing it. I also love the fact that the kids are not just being thrown $5, $10 here and there every couple of weeks or every week or whatever. They're actually earning their allowance and they're actually working towards something. And there's so many things that they're learning here. It's math, because they're seeing, okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, I made 50 cents today. 10, 20, 30, oh, I made 80 cents today. So there's the math aspect. Then there's the aspect of, hey, I'm actually helping out around the house. I feel good that I get to wipe the table. I feel good that I get to, you know, especially Bryce, because Bryce is the middle child, so he's always kind of like stuck there. He's not the baby, he's not the oldest, he's just, not that he's just the middle child, but I know what it must feel like, you know. He was the baby, he's not anymore, he'll never be the oldest, you know, so feeling like he has that place and he's doing something important, he loves it. He loves having a task. He's the one that'll come out of nowhere and say, Mommy, do you need any help? Or if Eric is in the kitchen cooking, hey Daddy, do you need me to help you out? He loves feeling like he's doing something and he's an asset. So when he's opening those blinds, he's doing it with a big smile on his face. He's making his bed and he's so proud of himself. Like, Mommy, you wanna come see how well I made up my bed? that makes him feel good. And that's the whole point of it. You want them to know that they're doing something that's helping you out. That's something that's just helpful in general, you know? So that goes into it. And then the fact that they know they're earning something. They're not just getting money at the end of the week. They did something to get it. And their behavior had to be on point for them to get the allowance. So again, you might have done the chores, but were you behaving? I'm not going to just give you money because you helped out around the house. First of all, you don't have, and I tell them this, I don't have to give you money for helping out around the house. You need to help out around the house because you live here. I'm not messing up the table by myself. I'm not messing up the homeschool room. I'm not the only person who dirtied that rug when I walked in, you know? So I shouldn't have to do everything, nor should Eric have to do everything. We're a team. We all live here together, and everybody has to pull their weight and everybody has to help out. Getting allowance is just an extra plus. So that is what we do. I hope I explained everything in a way that is understood, and I hope that it was helpful to you guys. I hope that you're able to use something like this if you don't already. Oh, and lest I not mention, I am the laminating queen. I laminated this thing. I laminate everything. I got my laminator from Amazon. I think it was less than $20, and then you get the paper either from Amazon or Walmart or Target or any of those kind of stores. And I keep this stuff laminated, and then I use the marker. And the thing I love about these markers is that it is an expo marker, so it's actually not a dry erase, it's a wet erase. So the thing I like about that is my hands, me or Eric's hands, are constantly on this writing stuff. And you know how it is when you have a dry erase, it's gonna rub right off. But with the wet erase, it does not come off unless you use water. So it kind of gives you the feel of like it's a Sharpie. But when you put water on it, it comes right off. So that's the plus too. So then we can just use it over and over again. Whereas if you use paper, you're gonna have to like erase, or you're gonna have to print a new one out every week. This is laminated. We keep it taped to the wall. The boys can always see whether they have a smiley, a sad face. They can always see how many checks they have for the day. They can see how much money they've made each day. And they can stay on top of their stuff on their own. So it's another little tip. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me some love on my video. And my next one, I'm getting into a rhythm here. And I'm going to talk about either like homeschool or parenting hack type things twice a month. And then on Tuesdays, and so Tuesdays is dedicated to my homeschool stuff and my parenting hack stuff. And I want to do more videos of the boys because they have great personalities. They're funny little kids, and I want to let you guys see more of them. So I want to do videos with them. So I think my next video is going to be all about them. And on Thursdays, it's more of me and my husband, like vlog style or just black love content and things like that. And I hope you guys like that stuff as well. Have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video.